What the heck is a quad lock?
Watch this to find out. Whether you're in the car, on the bike, on the water, in the air, your phone is an important tool. Keep it secure with Quad Lock.
And I like how no one brought up. He had his 40th the week before. He's just had the world's biggest weekend. He's dusty as shit, mate. He hasn't got the cold. He's fucking recovering from a huge bender. Call it what it is, guys.
Yeah,
he's run down because he had 3 days on the bloody Terps.
Oh no! He's in the fence! The boat's in the fence! They're all in the fence! Oh, unbelievable!
This is my domain, mate. I know you sat here on the weekend, you thought you fucking owned the joint, but this is my house, all right?
I nailed it. Did you actually get a bit jealous of how good I was?
No, I thought he's definitely trying to take my spot, though.
And then-
because you put me in the seat the other night, and then I seen you here on the week, and I thought, mate, he's trying to do a one-man show. It's a two-man setup. What's he doing?
I could clip it and just talk to myself. I might just do that in the future. I'll do a podcast with just me, and I'll run around and answer my own questions.
He's trying to cut me out. I can see it already.
You hold me back, all right? I did notice, though, someone had to remind me that you were actually sitting on an empty. So I can stand in the place, but I can't feel the shoes, is what I'd say.
I do get it, though, mate, because it's hard to fly like an eagle when you're surrounded by a turkey. So I understand your pain.
Whatever.
Should we sound check?
Sound check.
Sound check.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
Supercars, Barbs.
Episode 65, Townsville Debrief. Here we are.
Brodie Kostecki got the win, the one we've been waiting for.
He did.
Might as well start with that just before we start chewing each other's ear off. I think that's a highlight of the weekend that you have to acknowledge straight up to see DJR come out and get the first win. I personally thought it was going to come a lot sooner than it did.
I had round 2 or something.
Yeah, we were early.
Yeah.
But it was, very good. So congratulations, guys. And a 1 and 3 in qualifying. Davo was very strong. I think, little fun fact, was he was the only car other than Matt Payne to qualify in the 10 all 3 races.
Yeah.
So, I felt like they turned a corner. They did, maybe forget later, but we don't need to talk about that right now. We'll just talk about acknowledge that they won a race, had a great qualifying, and hopefully they can go to their home track QR and back up the pace we saw out of them on Friday.
Totally agree, mate. Great to see you. Brodie get the win.
We missed you here at the bar on the weekend.
Yeah, I missed you guys. I was at Winton. Had a little brain fog then. Winton. So a mate of mine bought a stock car and he was running that round for the first time. So I got to go have a little drive of that and twirl some spanners and give him a hand. It was good fun, but I did miss out on doing the streams with you guys, so I apologise.
We're live streaming now as well. I always remind you guys at the start, if you'd like to join us live for these podcasts, we do a debrief podcast after each supercar. Now we do it after NASCAR and IndyCar as well.
Yep.
We live stream it for Patreon. So if you'd like to, hit sub on that. You can join us next time. And we love it when you guys do, because often there's something we don't know and you've usually got the answer for us. So
more
makes it sound like we know what we're talking about.
More often than not. And also you get to direct what we talk about, because you'll ask us a question, then we'll derail the show for half an hour talking about whatever you asked us. So it's always good.
We've actually got, we haven't called this out in a little while, but we've got a little piece of memorabilia behind us.
It's big. Do you want me to get it?
Oh, you should get it. Just be careful, because I feel like you could tear everything down. Just slide it out from behind that wreath. And this is a piece of Frosty memorabilia. Mark Winterbottom is signed with a little piece of a team shirt on there as well. So if you are a fan of Frosty and you want to win this, it's thanks to Z Motorsport memorabilia. Tilt it down a little bit because the light's hitting that. There we go. And that is, signed by Mark Winterbottom himself. But we're going to give that away end of this month on Patreon. So if you would like to be eligible to win this, and shout out Z Motorsport memorabilia. If you need any framing or anything like that, the link will be in the description of this video as well. So sub to Patreon if you would like to be eligible for that bad boy. Nice piece of artwork for the man shed, Bubs.
Man shed, lady shed, whatever shed you got, it's a lovely piece of work.
Peter Goodwin said, you need a little bit of work on your presenting skills.
Sorry, mate. I couldn't see what I was doing.
Right in the middle of it.
I couldn't see what I was doing.
He used to be a ring girl too, so it's surprising he couldn't do that very well. But
I know. It is a lovely piece, though. It's quite large too. So
also sub to YouTube. I feel like I'm just selling all this, but we just gave some stuff away on the weekend. I had some model cars here. Shannon, my partner, used to work at Erebus, and she has some model cars, and so we randomly gave those away. We did, you guess third before the start of the race. You had to guess who was going to come third. Mm-hmm. Guess the first lap for pit stop. It's always fun to just run some giveaways and some challenges to make the racing a bit more interesting, a bit more at stake. So a couple lucky winners. I sent one of those off today already. It was good fun. Thanks to everyone that joined me for the live stream. And hopefully you can join the next one, Bubs.
I like it.
The smile was nice though from Traymon. Is that what you're laughing at?
No, I was laughing at you how you're like, thanks for joining me to really highlight the
You
fact
weren't
I was
here.
there. No,
I even text you each day, and you're like, not there, not there. One point, you weren't even replying to me. I had to reply to my 3 messages with the question mark. Go, Bubs, what the fuck?
I'll leave my phone in the toolbox. It's like he thinks I'm just hovering on my phone waiting to bloody reply to him all day.
After 24 hours, I thought, Jesus, I'm doing this pod on Monday on my own. Bubs isn't even replying to me anymore.
Guys, I am always here for you, you know that.
We were shit talking you in the AHU chat. You didn't even reply. About trying to get you off the fence. You ignored that one.
I did see that and I thought, fuck you, Shane.
Yeah, Shane
I'll
saying.
get off the fence. I'll throw you right under the bus, son. How's that sound? No, it was a bit of banter going on there. Sorry, I was busy. Shit to do. Let's rip in because at Townsville, mate, they had a race on Friday. So we actually got to see qualifying on Friday and some racing, which initially in the pre-brief we thought a bit of a strange tactic because we didn't know how many people would be there on a Friday or who could watch it on TV because it was like 3:30, I think, off the top of my head, something like that, the race. But it actually wasn't a bad race. I thought it was a shorter distance race. We'll tuck into qual. We'll read off some results. So,
well, one note, we were a little bit critical of the timing of the race, and it was actually good to see a couple team owners back what we said. Matt Stone and Brad Jones both said, we think it's going to be a bit of a novelty. We don't think this will last. But like you said, one positive was it was probably the standout of the races across the weekend. So it was maybe the most exciting. And Brad acknowledged as well, because I saw this in our comment section, someone put this in that said, a lot of the races we watch back anyway on replay on KO and the like, so it doesn't really matter what time it is live. And like Brad said, that defeats the purpose of us putting on like a live show. Like we want you to be able to
race on a Monday then if that was the case.
Exactly. You want to be able to, have a live show. If you're not checking socials because you're going to watch a race back, it's frustrating. We should try and accommodate for everyone a race at a time that allows you to watch it live so you get the thrill of live motorsport.
Yeah, because there is nothing worse than having to watch a race back, and because you're gonna see the results somewhere. Yeah. It's too hard now, not because a mate will text you or something will pop up on your feed and you go, oh shit, I've just seen it, and it really takes the shine off watching the race. So
you get up a lot earlier than me.
Yeah.
So on a Monday when there's a NASCAR race on, I wake up and I immediately put my phone on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah.
And then I start the race because I know you're going to send a chat in and be like, bad luck, good job, whatever it might be. Yeah. And then I'll know how the race went. I'm like, fucking Elliot, he will have watched this live.
Do you know it's funny you mentioned that because I wondered that this morning when I sent Shane in the group going, fucking good job or whatever.
Yeah, no, you're on Do Not Disturb.
I was like, I wonder if Scotty's he probably isn't watching this live yet. He's probably still asleep. I thought, I wonder if that'll...
No, you're like a bloody 5 o'clock get up every day. So no, my phone's on Do Not Disturb now. But yes, qualifying, let's roll into it, mate. People are waiting. Sick of hearing us talk about it.
Copy. So we thought it was going to be a bit of a Ford Cup, and it did tend to look that way early in the weekend. So straight out the gate, we had Brodie on pole.
Yep.
Cam Waters second, Will Davison third, Matthew Payne fourth. So the top 4 were Fords. And then we had Anton De Pasquale, Jack LeBrock in Chevs, 5th and 6th. Thomas Randall 7th, Bryce Fullwood 8th, Chaz, and then Ryan Wood. So the 2 WAU cars 9th and 10th.
I really am disappointed with WAU there because I had picked them. Honestly, I thought this was going to be, and Chaz had amazing race pace. If he could have qualified better, he would have been on, for slightly better results. But I did think Woody was going to still be quicker than Chaz, which that seems to have been flipped. And I think they've changed cars for chassis.
Okay.
So it does seem like he found a bit of form relative to Woody, but the WAU cars, I think it was a bit off of you saying it's going to be a Ford Cup as well. I agreed. And I thought, Walkinshaw, we're going to be there. And I didn't expect, Brodie wasn't even in my predictions.
I had him for, we'll have to go back and actually figure out what we said for our,
I put Brodie in?
For a win, but it wasn't for the Friday race, I don't think.
Sundays.
I had him for later in the weekend. But, it did look that way early. Race results, Brodie got the win, so that was massive for DJR and for Brodie because they had been...
Before you get to the race, though, Anton De Pasquale, I think, is worth a shout-out in qualifying, to be fair. Because that was the one where we said, Anton was good there last year, and can Team 18 go well there, given that they've struggled typically at Townsville in the past after always being good in Darwin? Yeah, no,
that was... The first thing I thought of when I saw quali and also the race results from Friday, I was like, ooh, that goes completely against what we thought was going to happen, which is good for Team 18 that was the case and for Anton.
Like, I wonder what they've found there.
Well, they've obviously found something, which is good because they did have speed across both cars, which we'll get to later on for the other days. But, they've definitely found a turn of speed, which was good for them. So in the race, it was Brodie that won it. So massive for DGR and Brodie, first win with them. Felt like it was a changing of the luck or the speed. I thought Cam Waters second. I had Cam being thereabouts all weekend, so he was there in second. Anton third, so he did manage to get a podium. He raced really hard in this race. I rated the way he muscled his way up onto the podium early on.
Yep.
That was good. Matthew Payne in fourth, so Penwright seemed to have some good speed too. Bryce Forward, again, top runner of the BJR stable in fifth. Chaz Mozzett sixth. Will Davo was seventh. Brock was eighth. Very unlike Triple Eight and Brock to be down so far. Jack LeBrock ninth. Will Brown 10th. Again, very strange to see the Triple Eight cars so far down. A little bit concerning early on in the weekend.
It was, yeah. There's a bit of a red flag there, wasn't there? I mean, Will, he qualified because we didn't touch on that, but he actually qualified. So this was, I think, important because it really was, this was the red flag. I mean, Will qualified 20th.
Yeah.
And at this point, his qualifying average, I think he was, over the last three starts, he was 13, 17 and 20th at this point. So the last two races last year, 13 and 17 were his qualies, and then 20th this weekend was the
averaging
first
like
race.
16 or something.
So it was yeah, and it was like, okay, like Townsville was really tough. And we did say going in, Townsville's been hard for them in Gen 3. And it was funny because when I spoke to Shane on Saturday, he actually said, he goes, oh no, we were always strong there. I said, no, I don't think Gen 3 you were. And he's like, actually, you're right. Like the old Gen 2 car, Triple Eight dominated. And then it wasn't really a happy hunting ground for them. I think they worked their way up there, which we see on this weekend. But, you know, Brock qualified 14th, which is, I mean, he's been a qualifying master. So Brock forgot on Friday completely, 14th and 20th for Will, but they both clearly had good race pace. And yeah, came through for 8th for Brock, which wasn't still a massive jump forward because Will actually moved up the order very quick and was really on the back of him, but Will finished 10th. So he was up 10 places in that race.
And in that race, like I was like, oh, fuck, it is a Ford Cup because there was only 3 GMs or Chevs in the top 12 or top 13.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, no. Because you look at that, there's a heap of gold on the other page, you know, from 12 down, it's basically all GMs and the rest is all Ford apart from a couple. So, but as we tuck into the rest of it.
Oh, wait till you get to Sunday, though.
Well,
Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Leave everyone in suspense there if you. We'll come back to that. Hunters, I just want to take a moment to thank one of our fantastic supporters, Shaw & Partners Financial Services. Shaw & Partners are a leading national investment advice and wealth management firm. They act for and on behalf of individuals, institutions, corporates, charities, and family offices. So, if you're looking for advice or assistance with investments or strategies, look no further than Shaw & Partners Financial Services. With a 35-year history and 8 offices strategically placed all over Australia, their financial advisors are within reach and ready to provide tailored solutions and advice. For more information, follow the link in the description of this podcast. Back to the show. One of the standouts for me was, one of the surprising things was Davo had no race pace on Saturday. Friday's first race. So he dropped down from 3rd to 7th.
Yeah.
And it really just didn't seem like he had anything to fight with, which was a surprise because come Sunday, he was one of the fastest cars across the race. I think he was actually 2nd or 3rd fastest over the average, like 35 laps of the 75 lapper.
Yeah.
So that was interesting, that first race.
And yeah, and Triple Eight did, to your point of finding race pace, Will was up 10 spots on Friday's race and Brock was up 6, so they made some moves. Who else made moves?
Thomas Randall for me, I thought this weekend, we even said in our pre-brief, you know, when are we going to call him for a win? And he struggled all weekend. You know, he finished 13th in the Friday race.
Yeah. Still just got out-muscled a lot, I thought, from what I saw. Like
way too kind to Cam. Some of the space, I think it was Sunday's race. He just
stuffed him over too. He lost 2 or 3 out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to start fighting for yourself a little bit, you know.
Fuck your teammate. Like it's at some point,
your biggest competitor is your teammate.
You can be mates on Sunday having a beer, but honestly, like I couldn't care less if my teammate wanted me to be nice to him. Like you're still in the same championship, you're still fighting.
Yeah.
Especially this year with how the championship is, it's not a regular season points thing.
Yeah.
You should still be thinking, I'm going to win this thing. So no, stuff this, like, I don't know. That's
you're never going to like damage them because obviously you're both paid by the same person to drive the car, but you need to, in this point system, you've got to prioritise your own result, you know, sometimes. But, it always seems that Cam gets looked after by him, which is a bit disappointing.
Yeah.
Especially because we were like, shit, this could be the race that see Randall get a win if the car's good. But Saturday qualifying was a real odd order. I thought it was a pretty strange one, but Cam Waters is the first honourable mention to go from P2 on Friday to 21st in qualifying on Saturday.
He forgot.
And then...
What do you have for dinner?
And then, well, whatever he had for dinner, Reynolds had the opposite because he went from 17th on Friday to 1st. He polled it on Saturday.
Yeah. And they kept saying, it was doing my note, because I was watching this while I was at the workshop on Saturday. They kept saying he had a cold. Like 4,000 times on the broadcast. And then he put on polls like, good, you can shut up now about his cold. It fucking has nothing to do with him driving. You don't feel shit when you're in a race car and you got a helmet on.
Yeah.
You could literally be missing an arm and you'd be fine.
I know. And then when Dave got out of the car, I've never seen someone play up the man flu so much. He actually was like bent over at one point walking, going like, like...
And I like how no one brought it up. He had his 40th the week before. He's just had the world's biggest weekend. He's dusty as shit, mate. He hasn't got the cold. He's fucking recovering from a huge bender. Call it what it is, guys.
Yeah,
he's run down because he had 3 days on the bloody terps. All right?
Yeah, well deserved too. But anyway, first he backed it up with a pole. So that was
good to see, actually. I was wrapped for Davo.
very good. But mate, he dropped fast, didn't he, in the race?
Yeah.
Which is disappointing. But anyway, Matty Payne, P2. Brock Feeney was 3rd, so he recovered a little bit in qualifying from where he was the day before in 14th. JC, well, Jack LeBrock actually, he did such a good job, I thought, in the first 2 races. Qualified 7th, I believe, on Friday, 4th on Saturday. Then James Corney was in the top 5. Brodie Kostecki had dropped to 6th, but still comfortably in the 10. Cooper Murray, I think good shout out there. He did a very good job to be P7.
Yep.
Will Brown 8th. So he's up 13 spots from Friday. So a little bit of a recovery there, but obviously he's still not going to be happy with that. Dave 09. Bryce Forward. He's been doing a mega job, I think, we've talked about him a bit last few races, really since Tasmania.
This was a shootout too, right, for the 10?
This 10 was a shootout. But Bryce didn't have tyres.
No. And again, we
and
talk
it was strategic.
about this. But we talk about this. If you make the shootout, roll them a set of tyres out.
Yeah.
Like, you want to see that 10 having a crack on the same tyre quality, not...
It's a joke, yeah. Well, we put up on socials, and actually a lot of people commented on it, and it was good to hear like what everyone else thought of some of the pros and cons with the sport. But this chat, the amount of talk, and it's funny because really since we've started talking about things, they do mention it in commentary sometimes. I swear some people listen, but I noticed that Garth actually commented on Saturday. I think it was Friday, we put the post up saying, like, I don't think they even got to the race yet. We were just tired of hearing about the fact they got no tyres.
Yeah.
All they talk about was, and what really triggered it was Will Brown in the second practice session didn't have enough tyres to run. So he just waited till 5 minutes to go in a 30-minute session and then put tyres on and went out. Like literally he was out of the car having a Red Bull and then they put tyres on at the end and he went out. And I was like, why the fuck are we spending an hour practicing? It really annoyed me because they've limited all our testing miles and I don't get any laps. So personally, I'm like, this sucks. I'm watching guys literally stand in the garage because they don't have tyres to run.
Yeah.
So why don't we just eliminate all practice? They clearly don't need it. They opt not to go out. So no practice or even just a 30-minute carby session. Co-drivers could do that and warm the cars up or test Super 2 kids, see if they're any good, and go straight to the race. Because the guys... they don't have enough tyres anyway to do it. I mean, I think they're $1,200 a set. We talked about it with Frosty on that podcast. Like, it's the cheapest performance part we could give them. But on the weekend, the fact they didn't run really annoyed me. I'm like, why am I sitting here looking at cars in the pit lane, choosing not to run? And then when qualifying came around, they're 10-minute sessions, 20-minute sessions. They're running reused tyres because they actually don't have enough to run green sets every run. So I'm like, well, hang on. And then you got Scaife and Crompo going, he's up 21 positions. He's up 16 positions. No shit, man, because he hasn't run a tyre and because of the pit lane order. The guys that run a tyre at the end, you see this big shuffle at the end of a qualifying session. I'm like, it's frustrating to continually hear that they don't have enough tyres. Like, it's like budget racing. It makes the sport look bad, I think. We don't ever hear about that in Formula One. They're always throwing tyres out. If someone locks a front, you don't even hear that, oh, they're out of tyres now, they're not going to be able to run again. And when you get to a top 10 shootout and you got someone like Bryce Forward make it, that is so cool for BJR and Bryce. They should not be at a disadvantage then because the faster cars don't have to run a tyre.
No, I agree.
Like a faster car will get to the shootout without having to spend all their cash.
Yeah, they'll do it in the one run.
One run.
They'll do one lap, one push lap, they'll be in.
Yeah. So qualifying is bad for creating good racing because the fast guys are at the front, slow ones at the rear. But our tyre format really hurts the guys that don't have the fastest car because they need to throw everything they can at it to make the shootout. And then they get there, and the one time all their sponsors and fans and everyone of the sport is looking at them when they're on TV, on track, on their own, with the biggest media value, they look like fools because they're running an old tyre and they put a lap down that's a second off the pace. It fucking blows my mind this hasn't changed yet.
Yeah, it's also less time they get to learn as well, because they can't then try something on a good quality tyre and go, oh, that actually worked. Cool, we've now got a direction. They just go, well, we're going to roll the old ones. Let's just see what we got. Like, we're not expecting anything. So I feel you. Saturday race. Should we
Nothing like a tangent, but I think it was important to the weekend because that was the sort of...
Oh, yeah, I agree, mate. Like, there's
a big talking point.
Nothing does our heads in, and I'm sure the other fans too, because you just want to see the 10. You want to go into a top 10 shootout not knowing who's going to get pole.
Yeah.
Because everyone's on the same tyre and any dog can have their day. Saturday race, though, Brock Feeney got the win, the Silkworm. Got back on the top step. Chaz was second. What a drive from Chaz, up 15 spots. Really mowed his way through, which was great. Matty Payne back on the podium in third. Will Brown fourth, so Will was up 4 spots as well. Brodie was fifth. Anton was sixth, so again another strong race for Anton. He was up 5 spots from where he started. Jack LeBrock in seventh. Ryan Wood up 16 spots. So him and Chaz, they both really motored through in that race. That was really good to watch. Cooper Murray ninth. David Reynolds down 9 spots in 10th. So as you said, he started on pole, Dave, and just obviously didn't have the pace to, or the tyre life or whatever it was, because he sort of dropped like a stone over the course of the race. Bryce Fullwood was 11th.
And I don't know if I missed it on TV, but they didn't. I don't think they went and interviewed Dave after the race, but I noticed after it he was sitting in the car for quite a while, and Richard Holway's engineer went and spoke to him. He looked exhausted, but I don't know if he was exhausted or just disappointed. You know, it would have been nice to hear from him after the race because, to get on pole and then he kind of just fell down the order progressively over the race. I think it would have been good to know what actually happened because I still don't really have an answer on that, whether it was car speed or what happened there.
Just looked like, from my point of view, just looked like the thing wasn't as good as the other things around him.
Yeah.
And he just got past. Like, I know in the commentary they're like, oh, he's exhausted, it must be because he's got the flu. I don't think that had anything to do with it. I think it was probably just, if the car was fast, he probably would have stayed there. If it wasn't, he wasn't going to.
Yeah.
And like, guys obviously tune their race cars up because, you know, Brock moved a few spots, like Chaz moved up 15 spots. Like, there were guys that were able to pass, which means they've tuned the cars up, and the guys that didn't means they probably didn't. It's not generally it won't be unless they've made a mistake.
Well, I mean, I think the last year I raced there, I couldn't do track walk, and I didn't turn up the first day because I was sick and felt shit. But the guys gave me a really good race car, passed 15 cars in a race, felt like shit. But if the car's quick, you kind of just sit in the passenger seat and let it drive itself. Like, you really
Become
you can
one
move
with
up.
the car.
Well, you're the organic spacer. Like Dave actually said, the reason he qualifies on pole is because they tuned it up the day before. He's 20th or 17th, wherever he was, and then he gets pole. He's like, I didn't just remember. Yeah. You know, so I think if you got a quick car, even if you're sick, look at Shane at Mexico, wins by 17 seconds. Yeah. And he was like proper sick, you know, like
that's a great.
If you got a fast car and you know, you can put it on pole, then you'll stay up there even if you don't feel great.
Hey, how big was that shunt at the start of Saturday's race?
Massive. So in practice, Will Brown, you know, they talked about him sitting on the left-hand side in a NASCAR and misjudging the exit of 2.
Yeah, in practice, that was a bit odd, wasn't it?
So I think that may have played a part. I don't know if it did or not. Jamie said, he jokingly said maybe it did, but you'll never know. Like, it is genuinely an easy wall. He's not the first to have hit that wall.
Judd's out, yeah.
But then Cam Waters as well, another one, we'll never know if it contributed or not. But he caused the whole crash. Didn't he just squeeze Randall unnecessarily? He just drove like Randall straight into Jackson Evans.
I felt for Jackson Evans.
Because when you watch the onboard, Cam went through, so, you know, they went through quite slow. No slide. He just unwound the lock and drove Randall straight into Jackson. And I'm like, I wonder if, because he's been sitting on the left-hand side as well for the last week, if he thought there was more room, because that was so weird. Like, he just fenced. And making it 3 wide there is not the drama. But when they go to the exterior shot and you're like, oh, he had 2 car widths on his right-hand side and just fenced his teammate. And I'm saying, I'd done it. I did it to Davo my last time there. Fenced him, took myself out. I did exactly what Cam did, but obviously...
Had you been to America the week before?
No, I'm saying that's why we'll never know. But we'll never know because, like turn 2, people have hit it before. And but I did wonder that. I wonder if just that judgment, you know, when you're going back and forward... It's probably a pretty easy thing to do when you go to the street circuits, and I don't know.
It's a big old shunt though. Like Golding got rode obviously Thomas. Did you see the rubber mark on Thomas's car where like he rode up? That was big. And then Cam got spun and grabbed a gear and kept going. That was pretty cool. Poor Jackson Evans got more damage. The bloke can't catch a bloody trick. Felt for Jackson in that. They had to put it in the garage, try and fix the thing. So that was disappointing, obviously, for the BGR guys there to have some more damage again. So, yeah, that was definitely an interesting start to the race.
Yeah. Yeah, that was. I felt for Jackson. He's having one hell of a bad run. But brings you back to the Teflon rear ends and the wheel riding. Like, that wouldn't have happened.
5-spokers.
No, it was tyre to tyre, though, this one. Sorry. Oh, sorry. I didn't realise you were joking there, Barbs.
Come on, I'm always
Do better. But yeah, when Golding hit the rear wheel, like he shouldn't be able to just tear through the rear bar like he did.
Yeah.
And one good thing to go and look at in NASCAR is when Logano turned Chastain. I know it wasn't Logano's fault he got hit, but when he passed Chastain after they were rejoining, they rubbed what would have been an interlocking wheels, but they're able to in NASCAR actually ship a car without the wheels touching because the guards overhang.
Yeah.
Now go and look at our supercars. The tyres protrude to the point where if it was a road car, you're getting a defect.
Yeah.
They actually protrude the guards massively. And that's what I think caught Golding. He went through the rear bar, which we saw with Will Brown on Saturday's race, I think it was. He hit Davo.
Yeah.
But really, that shouldn't have destroyed the back of Davo's car like it did. But that's what happened with Golding, I think. He's just hit him from behind, folded the Teflon rear end and rode wheels. And it fucking caused over 100 grand's worth of damage to Golding's car.
Yeah. And as you've said in the past too, mate, the fronts are so strong.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the front to rear, you've got obviously a soft point in the rear of the cars, but the front is so hard that's probably making that worse as well because that's not even going to budge. So, yeah, it's a shame because there was a lot of damage.
I hope you're enjoying this episode, but I do have to interrupt just quickly to thank our fantastic supporters that allow us to create the content for you. East Coast Car Rentals. If you're in the market for a rental car, think of those guys. And if you'd like a cheeky 15% discount, AHU15 is the discount code there for 15% off. If you're in the market to buy a car, not rent one, Lancaster Motor Group, we've got you covered for new or used cars. So think Lancaster Motor Group. Quadlock, fantastic supporter of our podcast as well. We use their products every single day on the pod using their desk mounts here. Also, we've used them to create the additional content like we did the Adelaide Motorsport Festival using their action camera mounts. So whether it's mounts, phone cases, they've got you covered. Quadlockcase.net. Now, the website for all of these brands that support us will be in the description of this podcast. Back to the show. Saturday, I think, was a little bit more what you would have expected, but I was surprised that on Sunday there were so many forwards in the 10. What have I missed then, Bubs?
No, it was. I was just going to say it was Saturday when JC had the engine say so in R2, wasn't it?
It was.
Because he was actually running really well.
Yep.
So that was disappointing to see that. I just thought I'd mention that before we...
He was fifth too at the time. He qualified fifth. He'd gone back a little bit, but...
He was still... I always like seeing JC in the mix because he's one that'll throw punches.
Yeah.
Like he's going to race his ass off the whole time. So it was a shame to see him go out with an engine failure because I thought he was going to add some spice to that race, which no doubt he would have.
Yep.
Sorry, mate, back Sunday, quali?
Yeah, well, Sunday's quali, Brock got pole, which I don't think I picked him at all for a pole across the weekend. I thought this was going to be the weekend. I didn't expect them to recover like they did either once we saw the first race, but going into the weekend, I didn't expect them to have the pace they did. Anyway, he qualified on pole again. I don't even know how many that is for the year now. He's had, it must be like 10 pole positions or something.
I think he's 9 wins, isn't he? So he's
10 poles, I think.
Yeah.
And Matty Payne, again, did a mega job. He's P2
very fast.
in Sunday's qualifying. Anton did Team 18, across the 3 races, they had some fantastic results, which was good to see. So he was third in qualifying on Sunday.
Yep.
Cam Waters, he really only had the one blip in qualifying where he was 21st. And then other than that, he was 2nd and 4th.
Yep.
Thomas Randall.
5th. So Thomas...
And this was shootout too. So this was great to see. Like a shootout, it's quite hard to execute your lap. But between Randall and Waters...
Matched him.
There's like 0.02.
Yeah.
So they probably maximised the car they had, excuse me.
Will Davo in 6th. I will just say Brock was nearly 3/10 up on 2nd in the shootout. So Brock was a fair way up the road, but everyone else was very close.
Davo, I think even Waters had used tyres.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Davo had used tyres. Brown had used tyres. He ran used rears, green front.
Okay.
So there was a bit of, again, the fact that that's even
a thing is stupid.
A thing is so wild.
Yep.
But that's why, Matt Payne had greens though. But Matt Payne, the one thing I noticed in the weekend, they struggled to turn that car on for one lap, but on lap 2, they were very quick.
Okay.
So in qualifying, he was often doing his best lap on the second lap.
Pressures, mate. Bumper up half a pound.
I'm sure they didn't try that.
Yeah, I'm sure they know.
We've solved their mystery. If only they called you on Friday, Bugs.
I know. I'm sure they know what's going on there. Chaz was 8th. Kai was 9th. So again, both Penrite cars in the 10. Great job.
Yep.
Ryan Wood in 10. So WU had 2 in there. Triple 8 had 2.
Brodie Kostecki missed the shootout, mate. P11.
Brodie missed it, so Davo was in.
I believe Brodie tried to save tyres for the shootout and didn't make it. Got out of the car early.
Bold strategy, Cotton.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Cameron Hill, Reynolds 13th. I was surprised. I think the field spread's just close in qualifying. So to go from pole to 13 is, you breathe on the brake pedal too early and you pee nowhere.
Yeah.
So the pole for him was probably a bit of a standout.
Yep.
Golding for me this weekend was probably a shock. I think Premier in general struggled.
Hey,
I thought
they're my who forgot.
Yeah.
When we get to it.
I don't understand why. I really don't get that one. Since Perth, I thought Darwin, they're going to be strong. Darwin, he had a pole last year, and then this year they really struggled. It's just
kind of all year they haven't been where I've thought they would be. They've kind of been a little bit disappointing all year.
Yep.
I was the same, mate. I thought I expected more.
Who shocked you in the race?
Well, the race, we'll read out the 3 and then we'll go through the rest of the good stuff. But Brock won. Silkworm back at his normal tricks. Will Brown on the podium. Good to see.
5 places.
Good to see Will come through. Will raced. He moved forward in every race. He raced really well on the weekend. I thought Chaz, exact same, was passing heaps of cars, getting good moves done.
Yep.
Chaz was up 5 spots too. He was P3. Cam Waters in 4th. Matty Payne down 3 spots. He was in 5th. Anton 6th. Ryan Wood up 3 as well. So Ryan also made his way through, made some good moves into 7th. Thomas Randall 8th. And Bryce Fullwood 9th. Bryce was up 7 spots. That's a great job. And then Kai Allen in 10. Cam Hill, we mentioned earlier, he had the drama with the brake issue from a bolt getting lodged in between his wheel and the caliper. I think it fractured the caliper and caused all sorts of drama. So that was just super unlucky. BRT, I thought they were going to have some pace going on like Saturday and early in the week.
Last year, you got very excited at our pre-brief when I said he qualified 3rd last year.
And then I saw him in, was it practice or early in one of the qual sessions, he was in 3rd. It didn't stay there. I thought, we might have jagged this again here.
Yeah,
but I got a little bit excited, but then they sort of dropped away as the weekend went on too, which is a bit disappointing because WIU was strong in the races. So Chaz was able to make moves. Woody was able to make moves. They've obviously got a technical alliance, so I thought that would have transpired over to BRT, but it didn't, which is a shame. But I'm just looking at that.
For me, the biggest one was Brodie Kostecki, was my biggest shock. 16th he finished.
Yeah.
Had no pace at all during the race. At no point did he kind of look like a threat anywhere.
Yeah.
After qualifying 11th, I thought you could put that down to maybe saving tyres, but then in the race, to go from Friday's race rather, when he won, and I was talking to someone today to find out, like, why was there such a difference in time? Was there a different tyre across the weekend? Because but it was the same tyre.
Yeah.
The stint lengths in the first race were actually longer than the second race because I thought, well, the average lap time across the first race on Friday was 0.5 a lap faster than both race 2 and race 3 of the weekend.
Yep.
So I thought, okay, well, maybe on race 2 and 3 they're looking after the tyre because the stint length is longer, but the stint length on Friday was longer.
Yeah.
So there was no tyre conserving on Saturday or Sunday compared to Friday. But Brodie's pace was 14.5 average. 15.0 was the average lap time on Saturday and Sunday's race. So he was genuinely lights out fast on Friday.
Yeah.
And then come Sunday, he's 6-7 tenths a lap slower on average. Obviously, you're in the pack. It's a lot harder to get out of it.
Yeah.
But equally, he didn't qualify on pole and he didn't win the race. He's qualified 11th and dropped back through the field.
Yep.
Which I would have thought when he qualified 11th, I was like, okay, we're going to see Brodie charge through.
Yeah.
And it just didn't seem to happen. So that, for me, was the biggest shock.
Let's just tuck into who's our forgot, who's our remembered. Who did you have?
Who remembered? Well, I'll go who forgot first. Mm-hmm. I've already sort of said I was probably shocked Golding wasn't more competitive, but Kai Allen's my who forgot.
Okay.
Might seem brutal, but I think he flew under the radar a little bit on the weekend. And So for me, the reason I put him down as the who forgot was because I was curious how he would go. So I kept a close eye on him. And every race he lost positions. And even during the live stream, I was talking about how hard it is to go from Super 2 to main game, and the step up is quite big. And, you know, every time you make a little mistake, instead of losing one spot, you lose a few in main game because the field spread's so close. But race 1, he qualified 11th and finished 15th. Race 2, qualified 16th, finished 19th. Race 3, qualified 9th, finished 10th.
Yeah.
So every race he went backwards. And after Darwin, a circuit he'd never been to, we were told a million times, he then goes to Townsville, which was a track that he self-proclaimed had been a good hunting ground for him in the past in Super 2. I think the expectation was probably higher for him now. It feels like, okay, he's turned a corner. His race pace, well, at least, you know, in terms of getting muscled out of the way, I thought it was, he's my who forgot. And I think there was some science behind that one. It was a shock for me.
Yep. I'm going to say, my who forgot, I think, is both premiers, really, Jimmy and Richie. I just, only because I thought more they were going to go better there, especially street tracks. I thought maybe if the car's not perfect, they'll jag a bit, but we just saw it probably wasn't the case for anyone. It just showed how much you need the wagon under you, because my who remembered is Chaz, because Chaz was making heaps of moves on the podium, you know, and he also this weekend had it over Woody, where the last few it hasn't been. You know, Woody's been the top dog at WAU. Chaz flipped that, I thought, on the weekend. And passed a shitload of cars. So he will be my who remembered.
John 99 has put in there that his who forgot is actually Tickford. No pace all weekend, and we expect better from Cam on a street track. That actually brings me to the point. How can every driver in the field be a street circuit specialist? Commentators just, everyone's a tyre whisperer. Everyone's a street circuit specialist.
I hate the tyre whisperers.
Man.
I'm like, drivers are just drive the thing to the grip. If the thing looks after tyres, it's because of the setup, guys.
Yeah.
The driver is just driving to the slip angle. I'm sorry.
100%. I agree with that. So I did hear that a lot on the weekend, but actually Tickford had a tough weekend, I think. You know, Randall, like we said, was probably the one we thought was going to be a lot more competitive. Of course, you know, Cam is, I think he's one of the most successful current drivers in main game at Townsville. Like 5 wins or something, or 5 poles, whatever it was. He's very good there.
I had Cam, I think, in my predictions on the podium in every race. So, it's a good shout. They didn't perform to the level that I would have thought.
And they did a great job with strategy on Cam's car on Sunday.
Yeah.
But I think they sort of got something from nothing in race pace. Their qualifying speed, other than the blip for Cam, was all right. But, that's a fair point, John.
I also will have as a secondary who remembered Anton, because he was consistently in the top 6 to 8.
He was in Darwin, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, but just because we thought they were going to be dogs at Townsville.
Yep.
And, you know, Tam and even Dave had a pole. So they did have a better weekend than what historically we would probably have thought.
Yeah, fair. So my who remembered is actually Reynolds. Momentarily qualified 17th in pole and 13th.
So had a cold, didn't you know?
Momentarily. But yeah, I think, you know, if you've got someone that qualifies on the pole, you got to give credit. And I think Dave's had a pretty tough run this year, so he's my who remembered.
Yep, no, good shout.
Broadcast, so I put in here, actually, I was going to put them as a who forgot, but I moved them up to just my general notes. But broadcast live timing. The first time this sort of become an issue was in Taupo. The live timing went down. They delayed the session. But during one of the qualifying sessions in the top 10 shootout, they were having to ask the drivers what lap times they did on their dash so that they knew who was fastest. Anton was funny. He went to lie about his lap time. He's like, 1:11, 1:12. But I think that's a bit of a who forgot. But I don't know what the solution is there, because that's really just a third-party supplier, isn't it? It's not a Supercars problem or anything. It's a software. I think. So, and because it's happened a few times. It happened in Tasmania. So Taupo, Tassie. This one was bad because it happened like during a live session.
Okay.
So there was no totem pole, and they had even the engineers in the garage, they didn't know what lap time anyone did. So one of the calls to Anton was, hey, can you let us know? We don't actually know what lap time you did, but you look like you're on for a 12.2. What did you get? And they're like, 12.27. Okay, yep, that's fastest now. Like, it was quite funny to hear.
Fuck. That's wild, isn't
but it's
it?
not criticism for them. I'm just laughing. I was like, shit, because it's not their fault. But something went down, and I don't know what our backup could be, because they definitely need to think of some way of having
mate, live time, hand timing.
Generator. Yeah, they need like everyone's partners. Remember back in the day in racing, everyone's partners.
Clipboard with the two.
Yeah. Or the karting dads bring out their old stopwatches.
Yeah.
Chad and Scaife have clearly seen the new F1 movie, because the word combat was being overused.
Were they chanting it?
Chad was using it so much. I think it was the
Plan C?
might have been Super 2 or Toyota race.
Right.
Oh, man. The word combat. I even heard Chad sort of balk a bit before he said it. I think he realised how many times he had said that word.
Right, yeah.
But it did make me laugh. Someone commented in our Patreon too. It's a tough one to talk about because I don't have like a solution or a recommendation or anything, and we don't ever want to be not constructive. But the press conference after the race, there was only one journalist there, and you could tell because there was only a few questions thrown forward. And I think that's a concern that we're not attracting outside media attention. Mainstream media is not watching, and it's a concern because as a podcast, it's trying to create something around a sport we love. We need that sport to be popular as well because that's. We rely on the popularity of that sport too. So anyone that says we're negative on the sport, that's, we're only talking about what we think needs to be vocalised. Yeah. We don't want the sport to fail because if it does, then we don't exist either. Like we'd have to then go and talk about just NASCAR and stuff. And our core love has always been supercars. But I don't really know what they could do, but that was a concern for me. There was only the one journalist in pit lane. And I do think that if you have a media pass and you don't go to the press conference, you should have that media pass revoked. Because you shouldn't be hanging around after the press conference finishes to get your top three and try and get a story the other guys don't get. Go to the press conference and ask the questions in front of everyone. I think that should be important. But also maybe they need to consider getting or doing a better job of dragging media in. I see what Gypsy Tales does for the Supercross and I love it. I want to maybe reach out to Supercars. We talked about it before the pod. Maybe this is a bit of a call to action where we go, hey guys, like we'd love to come and sit with you and go, what can we do to create short form content for socials around the sport as well? I've seen Gypsy Tales. He goes to the press conferences for the Supercross in the US and he actually films clips of him asking questions. He asks great questions too, like real questions.
Yeah, he's very good. Yeah.
Challenges them, creates rivalries, stirs the pot, asks genuine questions. And he clips those and creates social out of them and gets views because I don't know what the answer is. But maybe we can do stuff like that, but also how do we attract other media outlets? Like, I don't even think Brock got the front or back page in Perth after he won there. I remember seeing the paper there and I'm like, how the fuck is Supercars not? We can't even get Gold Coast Bulletin to go to the press conference. So it's a bit of a concern, but yeah, I did want to talk about it because hopefully Supercars, someone does listen, maybe, I don't know, even if like we could do a pod, even if it's pre-recorded, because I know we can't post on the weekend, but we could go to the track and do pre-recorded and try and get more eyeballs through socials as well. I don't know. What do you think? Do you have a thought on it? I hadn't spoken to you about it until today because I just thought about it yesterday.
Look, I'm sure there's stuff that can be done. And I just look at the other sports that I watch that do it really well. Like I mentioned you before, NRL do it really well. So you always see their press conferences on socials and also on Fox or KO or wherever you're watching it. So things like that definitely seem to be able to push it out a bit more. They got a lot of other shows around the sport that are either on KO or podcasts or other platforms. And I think Supercars feels like a little bit of a closed shop, and I think that's why it's not getting as much of the product out there. Like there's got to be 10 to 15 different sort of talk shows, setups like this, but on KO and stuff for NRL alone.
Yeah.
They have different hosts. Everyone's got different people that they like watching, but there's so much content getting pushed out every weeknight. And on the KO mini-series and stuff like that, that I don't see Supercars doing enough of because it's all controlled by them, which is fine. But I think if with them and their broadcast partners, whether it be KO or whoever, they put a bit more effort into that, maybe that might help a little bit. I think there's things that could be done.
Yeah.
I don't exactly have a silver bullet because otherwise they probably would have done it and they would have thought of it. But I think there's just not enough of it out there. Yeah. And that's the problem. It's so few people doing this sort of stuff. There's bugger all podcasts. There's bugger all, I guess, stuff that's not controlled by either Supercars or...
Well, that's the problem. I think they use their own broadcast people a lot. And, like, if you're employed by broadcast, I can tell you, like, if you say something they don't like, they just won't show you. So anyone that holds a Supercar microphone on a race weekend can't do an independent show during the weekend. It just doesn't, during the week. So it is like the Speed Cafe guys that do full credit to the noise, like ours, like what V8 Sleuth started. And I feel like Sleuth is at all of us. You know, we're kind of taking it upon ourselves to create content for the sport. The disappointing thing and my frustration has always been the one thing when Paul, who works for me, went to get his media accreditation at a supercar event, he told me that when he went to grab it, Supercars or whoever it was at the desk said, "This isn't for apex hunters, is it?" And I'm like, hang on a minute, as a sport, you're almost on your knees. Like, you should be saying to us, come and shoot some content with our drivers, or come and talk about it a little bit. Because at the moment, when you've got one person turning up to your press conference, you definitely shouldn't be doing a security check on media cred. You should be handing it out to every person that is interested in the sport.
And I think now, especially like with how big social media is and all that sort of stuff, the independent media is what's getting a lot of eyeballs.
Yeah.
Like, you look at it
It's trusted.
on the F1 stuff as an example. There's so many one-man bands that are independent, nothing to do with the sport, but they're going out and they're doing vlogs and interviews and all this sort of stuff, and it's getting massive eyeballs.
Yep.
And I think that's one thing I think we don't do very well in supercars, is it's all very controlled. There's no independent stuff that's getting pushed a lot.
Yeah.
Even NASCAR is starting to push stuff with independent, like stacking pennies is under the NASCAR banner and stuff. It's essentially kind of independent.
Well, the only independent one really you have is Dirty Mo.
Yeah.
And he's doing kind of like what we do here, whereas like, you know, stacking pennies even is under NASCAR, which the good thing is there, though, they let them use a lot of broadcast footage and stuff, which they've started doing for socials. But independent media generally is more trusted because you don't have an axe to grind. And I don't know, I don't know what the answer is, but we want the sport to be talked about more is what we're hoping for. I think we should encourage more independent people to go out and try and create content. The drama you do have is the people that do have, like sleuths and those guys that have media accreditation, they're also forced to just toe the line, because if they're not going to toe it, they don't get their cred, or they get treated like we do sometimes. It's like, that shouldn't be a thing. If you've got someone that's kind enough to go out there and create their own independent content, like, you know, a show like what Noons has just gone and done, encourage that. Don't restrict them. But you listen to that and it is the same political chat, because you can't step out of line. You know, we're prepared to do it here because, unfortunately, I sometimes I just go on a rant and I often say stuff I probably think in hindsight I shouldn't have said. But, you know, I think it's to the betterment of the sport that people do that. Yeah. Long term, it's a risk at first, but long term, I think it will always be better for the sport. Yeah, and I think if there's enough of that stuff, going back to like the NRL stuff, it's like 10 to 15 shows, there's enough of it and it's all a different opinion, people will make up their own mind because there's enough of different stories floating around or different opinions. So I think it's not as bad when there's lots of it out there, where if there's only one person saying something, then it comes across like, oh, that's the only thing being said, where I think if we, not flood the market, but if we allowed more independent media and more people to talk about and get access and things like that, and a platform for people to go and chat about it, it's just going to be better. And then the small one-off negative thing won't become a big thing because there's so much other stuff going on. I did chat to someone today, and it sounds promising with Warburton coming in that this is going to be one of his pushes, is to try and get mainstream to pay attention to the sport more and fill out the press conference, because the more people in there, the more... You know, if you imagine having like 10 journos in there asking a question, they're all going to be asking great questions because they're all of a sudden competing against each other, and you're getting better at, you're getting the juicy stuff happening, because they will be like, fuck, that's a good question. What about this one? What about this? And they're trying to get a take that creates a good story for them to publish. So you've got to fill that room and they'll get some good shit out of it. I think the other thing with it too, just while I'm thinking about it, mate, with that, it'll also, if they could create an atmosphere where the drivers feel comfortable to say what they think, because there's some really good personalities in the sport. Yeah. Look at Tickford's socials. I think they're doing a great job there. Tickford have absolutely been killing it all year. Their stuff is awesome. Yep. If we were getting packed out press conferences and we were getting heaps of views on it and things like that, drivers would be allowed to speak their mind more freely because the sponsors would be loving it because of the views it would be getting. Yeah. Where at the moment, if they say something silly now, they get the shits because there's no reward because only 4,000 people saw it versus a couple 100,000 or a million people. So I think it would lend itself to making the drivers feel more comfortable to potentially be themselves more. Yeah. Because the sponsors, even if they do say something that's maybe slightly controversial or whatever, they're still going to go, well, it's still a benefit for us because 1 million people just saw it on YouTube. Yeah. Versus... oh, well, he said something silly and only 1,000 people said it. This makes us look stupid. Yeah. Because there's no gain for them. Well, and the one thing I've really found is that you can have really any brand supporting you, but every brand has one thing in common, and that's that they like to promise their customers honesty and transparency, right? And that's what we've tried to say on this pod is like from the beginning, you might not always like what we say, you might not agree with it, but it's just that is our opinion. It is what it is, right? We say what we think and it's not filtered. And I think that you have to respect the honesty and transparency and you can trust them then. You know, if we hear something and we repeat it, it's trusted. And that's what brands like to think as well, is when they have a product they try to sell. It's why I think it's important as an ambassador to never promote a product you don't genuinely believe in.
Yeah.
Because you lose the trustworthy of the fans or your clients or whoever it might be, and the brand is worth nothing. So I think a sponsor will back someone if fans really know that person only says what they believe in or backs what they believe in. Because when they promote your brand, you know they're only doing it because they like that product.
Yeah, correct, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's important. That's why it's like encourage the drivers to be themselves, because you'll actually attract brands that will respect and go, okay, actually, this guy is all about what we're about. We might not agree with him, but what he stands for is exactly what we stand for as a
Same
company.
values, yep, all that stuff.
Yeah. I do love the socials. Tickford have been standouts. I wanted to I took a photo and put for the win, Will Brown's comment, his caption on, I think it's Saturday's race.
And how's the hat on him too? He's gone the full, because Townsville did have a cowboy theme or a rodeo theme.
Yep.
And he's brought his hat along. And look at him in that photo. You'll obviously put the photo in.
Oh, it's brilliant. Yeah, on our YouTube, you'll be able to see this in the audio, on the video. But if you're audio, go to Will's socials and check it out. Comment is, the caption, drove hard, got a 5-second penalty that was deserved, in brackets, sorry, Davo. Got run into by Cooper Murray about 4 times, finished P4, mega car speed, go again tomorrow.
Yep.
There's about as honest of a recap as you can get. The 5-second penalty I liked as well. Ran into Davo, got a 5-second penalty, deserved that, move on.
Yep.
I think it was gold. So, yeah, I think, good on the drivers. Speak your mind.
Yeah, just
Captions like that are brilliant.
Yeah, being honest and transparent with throwing a bit of Will's humour in there is perfect. Like that's Will Brown, you know, from what I think. So that's the stuff you can't be scared to do. Like, and that's brilliant. So I don't know whether it worked well for him, what his analytics were, but we enjoyed it.
Jesse and Traymon also said one point, and we've gone away from Townsville a little bit, but debriefing what our thoughts were from the weekend. Traymon and Jesse have put in our chat here that more races would be nice instead of letting it die down for a month. And I didn't realise the break was as big as it is right now, but it is 4 weeks from the last event to QR.
Is it?
Which is a bit of a breather because there have been almost back-to-back events since
on the road,
Perth, Darwin,
north,
Townsville.
Yeah, west. Yeah.
And so for the Melbourne teams, I'm sure this break's going to be much needed to get the cars back, prep them.
Yep.
But, you know, fans and sponsors alike don't have much sympathy for that because we're craving the sport. And also it means that for the next 3 weeks, like for instance, you and I are going to go off and talk about other sports and supercars falls away, and then you got to try and generate the interest again when it comes back. So it's definitely food for thought, but hopefully it does sound like next year. I think we might be trying to get to 15 events, but
really,
I think so because it'll be 14 with New Zealand.
Oh yeah, plus another maybe.
Plus maybe another. So they are trying things, but it comes back to 3 races on a weekend and stuff like that, and the testing, and they need to cut corners somewhere to rob Peter to pay Paul, and get more events in the calendar, but. That's really it from Townsville. Congratulations to DJR. I'm sure there's a bunch of people in that team that have been stressing, waiting for that first win. They did forget, though, so it's not all sunshine and rainbows.
You'd rather win the race on Sunday than Friday because you kind of forget about that, don't you?
You do.
You always think about the last one. So, but that was good. I thought the event, from watching on TV, looked good.
The bull riding looked good. The content I saw, I was kind of bummed I didn't get to see that.
Yeah, I did think the same thing. Like I'm into my country and Western. I thought that would be amazing to be up there and watch the rodeo. But looked like there was a good on the Saturday and Sunday. Looked like the crowd was good. Townsville always turns on weather-wise. I love that event. So, but
yeah, I had FOMO watching on board too around that track. I was like,
from a few people I spoke to that were at the event, they said it was a great event and loved it. So from that side of things, it looked awesome. So hopefully we can get up and enjoy the sunshine there next year, Scotty.
Yeah, mate. I don't think it'll be too difficult for the Melbourne teams to be competitive at QR. I know they talked about it a little bit on TV, but you usually pick the tracks up so fast, these teams. I think that within two practice sessions they get, I think they'll be on the pace. And my shout is, again, I think Matty Payne's going to be right there.
QR always, I think QR promotes good racing and has in the past.
It does, yeah.
So I reckon we'll be in for some belters at QR.
Hopefully some alternate strategy, because usually when you see a guy come through with fresh tyres at the end of the race, there's plenty of overtaking. Yeah, there are Queensland teams that test there, so hopefully Premier, they're one of those. Hopefully they can bounce back. They, for me, have been one that have struggled. But given it's their test track, if it's ever going to be one they can bounce back at, I think this could be it.
QR will be tight in the times too, being the nature of the circuit's a short lap, 6 corners. I think it's going to be super competitive. So,
Yeah.
and the racing's good. You can lean on people there. You can make shit happen.
Yeah.
So.
Daniel Alvey said lots of people haven't driven a supercar at QR. I think it's a fair point, but within, I would say 2 laps, you'll lay your best time of the week of the session. At this level, you kind of
A lot of the
it's 6 corners. You will pick that up. I guarantee 2 laps is kind of all you need as a driver, and you'll lay your fast lap, and then you won't actually improve anyway with the tyre deg.
A lot of the people too that are in the field would have
Driven there in something.
driven there in something a lot of times probably, but also tested there in either Super 2 or something that's similar.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it'll be a big drama.
No, I agree.
As you said, and look, to be honest, guys, professional drivers, as Scotty said, your second lap in practice 1 is generally as fast as you go that whole session. Doesn't matter if you've been there last week or you haven't been there for 2 years.
Yeah, unless you got another set of tyres thrown at it, which in supercars we don't.
You do your prep, you do your homework before you get to the event. You know all the points you need on your track walk. Like you're on it first lap, so it doesn't matter. And even, so it's not going to be a problem.
I used to laugh like when I was in Super 2 at T8, we'd do track walk on the race weekend there, and I was like, why are we doing track walk? Like I've driven this track now as our test track, and we get to the race weekend, it's like, I feel like someone started a track walk as a practical joke. It was like, we should just walk it and see if like other people think, shit, maybe he's picking something up from this. And it is funny. It'd be interesting to see if the Queensland teams do a track walk.
They will
at
just
Queensland Raceway.
They will just because you got to go for your track. It's in the schedule. There's track walk for an hour.
It's like and also you feel like you might be like, oh, maybe we'll miss something.
Have they changed something? Can someone ring Quinny? Have they changed that curb?
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us. For our live viewers, they've just witnessed both podcasts, the NASCAR IndyCar podcast as well as the Supercar one. But yeah, if you have any comments from the weekend that we've missed, send them through. I'll also put the fan memo link, which is a link where you can record your thoughts via a voice message. And if we get enough feedback from whether it's feedback on our podcast, comments on NASCAR, Xfinity, IndyCar, or Supercars, we might end up doing a podcast around those and chatting to you guys about that.
We get enough memos in every week. We'll fire in a memo pod for sure.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for tuning in, guys.
Thank you for joining me, Barbs. For coming back and not leaving me hanging again.
Geez, I spend 48 hours away from him and he's like I bloody kicked him to the curb.
Honestly, when you weren't replying to my text messages, I thought we were done. I thought I was dead to you. I was starting to question like the last message I sent. You know when you're texting a girl when you're young and you go, shit, did I say something? It's like, what have I done?
You reread it a few times.
What have I done here? Yeah. It was like when Will said something about having a different co-driver. I was like, I watched that video 400 times going, shit, reading into it way too much. Elliot, please reply to me.
Sorry, mate.
Anyway, thanks everyone. Hope you enjoyed a cold one. See you next time.